Good morning, world, and all who inhabit it. This is Mike and Josh, exclusively here on the Grid Network for episode number 2. 2 weeks ago was a blast, but obviously it took me only 1 week for me to decide, you know what, I've had enough of this. I need a vacation.
It was a well-earned vacation. We did one episode and what? I deserve a break.
I deserve a break.
And you gave yourself the break.
I did. Went to the Biltmore Estate in Western North Carolina. That was quite the experience for me and my family. It was really, really nice. I think we're both a little under the weather. I mean, I'm not, I've been under the weather for about a month and a half. I mean, it's nothing new for me. I've been congested and nasally for as long as I can remember now. I don't even remember the last time I could breathe. But Josh, this congestion, this under the weatherness is a bit new for you coming into this week.
Well, yeah, like yesterday afternoon, all of a sudden my body was just like, you know what you haven't been for a little while? Sick. So let's fix that.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, great. It's not like I'm doing all these, podcasts and radio appearances over these next few days as people are gearing up for the holidays. Sure, I'll sound like I just have an entire pillow shoved up my nose while on the air. So there you go.
To me, you sound like a sexier Morgan Freeman. I think the voice is in great shape. Really great.
I'm not sure how to take that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Question mark?
You're welcome. No, it was totally a compliment. Totally a compliment. Anywho, let's start the show today. We've got plenty of stuff to go over today.
You clearly are under the weather if you're complimenting my sexy, sick voice.
I want to talk about the Bills and how they stack up in the AFC. That's going to be coming up in about 15, 20 minutes. The Rams. Does anybody even care that they're good? We'll talk about that towards the end of hour one. Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge winning his third MVP in 4 years. This time over Cal Raleigh, who had 60 home runs as a catcher. We'll talk about that at the top of hour number 2. Did they make the right call? We'll talk about that. But first, as of course, we must always, and if you haven't noticed, this Grid Network that we are both a part of, that I have co-founded and, proudly have done so, is very much, we talk about the Cowboys a lot. We do. We really talk about the Cowboys. Cowboys Can Fan is an unbelievable program.
Yeah, absolutely.
Say the same about Boys in the Zone with EJ Savage, who's a really good friend of mine. He covers the Cowboys as well. So what other way is more fitting to cover the Cowboys in the first segment of our show, Josh?
You know what could be?
What?
Covering the 27 other more important sports news stories over the last week than the fact that our 4-5-1 Dallas Cowboys defeated what are they now? The 2-8 Las Vegas Raiders. But that, because they're the Dallas Cowboys, are still somehow the top story of a weekly sports show.
100%.
That's ridiculous.
No, well, listen. Do you not see that?
Ridiculous.
I thought I had a Cowboy thing in here. Maybe I don't. Oh, here we go. I have this. Let me just reach down and get it. Oh, my God. Okay.
Those of you listening, Mike is reaching down under his desk for some Cowboy paraphernalia.
Yeah, so I have a Cowboys desk pad that I got for Christmas, I don't know.
Still in the box.
6 years ago. Still in the box. I have not opened it up, but it is still here. I have not thrown it out. It's still here.
Just like how so many people still have the hopes that Dallas is still America's team in the box for many, many years and just not letting it out of that box for some reason since they haven't been America's team for 20 some odd years now.
Yeah, well, listen, they now, after last year, as everybody knows, hold the longest drought in the NFC for reaching an NFC championship game after the Commanders did it last year for the first time since 1992. So now the Cowboys haven't been back since 1995, which is also the last time they won a Super Bowl. I digress. Here we go.
And they're the top story.
And they are the top story, 100%.
For beating one of the worst teams in the league.
So, and let's talk about that because that's important to this. Because the Cowboys beat the Raiders in Las Vegas last night, 33-16. Fairly lopsided game after the first 2 possessions, which were very ugly for Dallas, right? 3 and out. Brian Schottenheimer benches CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens on the first drive of the game. Neither here nor there. We'll probably talk about that a little bit later as well. But then the next possession, Dak gets sacked, fumbles. That leads to the first points of the game, which ended up being a field goal. But other than that, Cowboys pretty much dominated the game. Here's what I think, and this is the first game the Cowboys have had with Quinnen Williams, Logan Wilson. They got a couple of other defensive players back, right? DeMarvion Overshown came back from injury. Siobhan Revelle came back, made his NFL debut, their rookie third-round corner, who was projected as a first-round pick. He went in last night. Malik Hooker, their safety, after missing 5 games, came back last night. Here's the thing. There's 2 things I really want to point out. The Raiders are not a good offensive football team. Let's point that out very, up front.
Mm-hmm.
Ashton Genty might be the unluckiest rookie of all time. This guy doesn't get an inch before getting hit after touching the football.
Yeah.
He does not have any room to run. But I got to tell you, I still think that this Cowboy defensive line can get pressure. Like Quinnen Williams being added to this defense, certainly, and I'm in lockstep with Troy Aikman, who on the broadcast last night pretty much said, listen, this was not a good test, but this defense is better. It is without a doubt better than it was.
Oh, it's certainly improved with these additions. There's no doubt about that.
And I'm not telling you that they're a good defense, but they held Ashton Genty to 7 yards yesterday. The Raiders didn't even think about running the football yesterday. Does this mean something for the Cowboys going forward this season?
I think it means more for the Raiders than anything. I think what it means with the Raiders is, hey, we tried to bring in Geno Smith. We tried to bring in Pete Carroll, and it ain't working. Pete Carroll's coaching style, he cannot adjust to even a team that is at best in the middle of the pack in the Dallas Cowboys. And many people, myself included, have the Raiders hunting for a playoff spot this year. Based on how they were with defense, with how great Bowers was, headed into the season. Obviously, injuries happen. And then adding Genty. I really thought the Raiders were going to be 8 or 9 wins and, fight to possibly get that last playoff spot. Clearly, that has not happened.
Yeah.
And it all just falls down to, okay, well, where do the Raiders go from here? Because you just paid Geno, and you just paid Pete Carroll. It's only a matter of time before you're going to pay Brock Bowers. Mm-hmm. You're paying Max Crosby.
Yeah.
And you just shipped out Jacoby Myers, who quietly, obviously very early, but has clearly been the MVP of people that were traded.
Yeah, right.
Because he had a phenomenal game this past Sunday against the Chargers. So the Broncos aren't getting worse. Chiefs will get into. Chargers are good, even with no offensive line that they have right now.
Yeah, right.
So I feel that this was more about, wow, the Raiders can't even run the ball or put up legitimate fight against a team where, yes, now their defense has improved with these new acquisitions, but it's still nowhere near a top-tier defense compared to anyone in their own division.
Yeah, here's the thing. I think that, here's the way that I came away from this, is that I'm used to seeing games like what we saw last night and having the impression of, I'm used to the Cowboys going up against the Raiders, theoretically, and Ashton Genty, that being the game where everybody says, Okay, that's why he was the 6th overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why. That kid is good. And that didn't happen. In fact, the exact opposite happened. Now, like, I don't agree with the people that say, like, oh, well, Ashton Genty already looks like he's not panning out. I mean, look at the situation he's in. That's, I think, ridiculous. But
Yeah, you can't blame him for it
no,
because he's still, for a rookie this season, put up very solid numbers. Definitely a bad game last night. But again, I don't blame him. I blame the non-existent offensive line and the play calling.
He is slightly carrying the ball over a yard before he gets touched.
Right.
That's the lowest in the NFL. Okay, he's got no room to run. Bringing it back to the Cowboys a little bit, this is what I think. Like, obviously, this was a game they had to win, and when you look at what their schedule looks like for the rest of the year, okay, we touched on it a little bit a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
it's not easy. A lot of home games, but it's not easy. You're home against the Eagles, home against the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. Then the very next Thursday, you go at Detroit, home against the Vikings, home against the Chargers. So it's not smooth sailing the rest of the way. I think everybody can convince themselves that the offense of this team is good enough to be a playoff team.
Oh, sure. The offense has been great. When we touched on that, Dak Prescott is playing phenomenal. Javonte Williams, where did he come from? George Pickens, I mean, this has come to like a steal of a move that they got with him. He looked incredible last night.
Yeah. Yeah. And he'll be in a Cowboy uniform next year, whether it's a franchise tag or whether it's
he better be
an extension.
Yeah.
But I think, like, here's really the question that I have now is I think that, and the true test will be next week against the Eagles. And by the way, the Eagles offense has not been firing on all cylinders lately either.
Sure.
But that will be a legitimate test. Division game at home, that'll be a real test against possibly the best team in the conference. Is even if the Cowboys do have something here with their defense, is it too little too late right now?
It absolutely is. It's completely too little too late. When you really break it down, they realistically, to have a realistic chance of making the playoffs, they have 7 games left. They have to win 6 of them.
Yeah.
You got to be 10-6-1 for a wild card spot, most likely. So when you got, as you just mentioned, Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, Vikings, Chargers, now they end their season at Washington, who is a shell of who they were last year.
Right.
And at the Giants, where 90% of their roster's hurt. So those last 2 weeks, okay, they probably got those. But you realistically have to win 4 of those other 5 games against Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, Vikings, Chargers. And Eagles, while you got the division, the Chiefs, Lions, Vikings, and Chargers, they're all also still playing for their playoff lives. Vikings are most likely out of it, but they're trying to prove themselves. Lions are now looking up at the Bears, which is something I was not expecting to say in 2025. The Chargers still fighting. And again, the Chiefs, again, they're now also in just as much must-win mode as the Cowboys are.
Yeah, they are.
So the Cowboys have to have this type of game, this type of performance for the rest of the season. And we've seen them. They have a game like this, and then they have 2 weeks where they look miserable. And then they have another game like this. And we're like, all right, now they're turning it around.
Yeah.
And then it goes back.
It's not a new Cowboy trend either. They do that every year, it seems like.
Yeah. And another example, you know, how I am half joking as far as Cowboys still top story. Well, why are the Bears not a top story right now at the top of that division?
Yeah.
Why are the Patriots not a top story? Why are the Rams not a top story?
Yeah,
because these are all teams that weren't necessarily expected to be where they are. But it just kind of shows the power of past success in a large market on what it does. And I mean, we're going to get into like the AL MVP conversation in a little bit as well, where that falls in the same category with it.
Mm-hmm. Carving It Up podcast. This is Bryson Carver, who obviously I love him like a brother, but he annoys me in certain ways.
You mean the guy who
Josh
thinks
Allen
the Chiefs are
hater.
the best team in football?
Rain Dakota Prescott is about to get on a roll. If this defense can be average, they're going to have a shot. That's what he says. He also put something up the top here. He said Josh Allen is the greatest football player who's ever lived and ever will live. Never seen anything like him. He's trolling me because he hates him and thinks that he's worse than Brock Purdy. But it's the way it is with me and Bryce. But listen, I there is a point to be made about whether or not, if this defense can be somewhat average, like, they have an opportunity to go on a bit of a run. Now, it's a lot to ask for, right? Because again, the quality of your opponents or something, you have several different primetime games in a row, right? You get the Chiefs on Thanksgiving, then you get a Thursday night game against the Lions on the road, then you get Sunday night football against the Vikings at home. Like, these are all teams that can sneak up on you and take a win. So, I don't know.
Also, they get another short week in week 16 after they play the Chargers. They play the Commanders
right
4 days later on Christmas Day.
Yeah, right. So not easy. Not easy for them. We'll see. If it's a little bit too little, too late for them, we'll see. Obviously, this is a team facing a little bit of adversity. Patrick Brown, obviously, saying your thoughts on the tragedy of Marshawn Nealon, which occurred 2 weeks ago. Young man had a good Monday Night Football and then gone 3 days afterwards. That was the that's one of the more shocking stories in sports of the year.
For sure.
And I think the Cowboys have handled it fairly well in the last couple of weeks. They've kind of showered him with a lot of praise and a lot of love and a lot of sympathy. They've started a GoFundMe campaign for his girlfriend, who they discovered was pregnant a few days after his passing. So, very interesting to see how this team is driven going forward to the rest of the season. Now it just gives them something else to play for, another motivating factor, but a really terrible story.
It is. And I mean, and it's, they're certainly, working with it. If you saw their post game, locker room speech, Coach Schottenheimer had a t-shirt with him on it.
Yeah.
And, it's obviously a very sensitive subject to discuss on any type of platform. And, because the key thing with shows like this are we're having fun. We're talking sports.
Yeah.
We're joking with each other. We're making fun of each other. And we're, try to do it lighthearted. And obviously there are serious, real things out there. And we, as personalities, if you want to call us that,
yeah,
we try to do our best to bring a lack of the heavy stuff in people's minds.
Right. And
I've always said this, because as some of the listeners may know this, I also have extensive background in improv, where I get blessed to travel around the country, perform and teach improv comedy in various theaters. And I've been asked many times, what is it about that I enjoy? And what I always tell people is, I get the chance to go on stage and temporarily remove people's stresses, because they're coming to these shows to not think about what's bothering them, what's going on with themselves, with their loved ones, with their jobs, with their relationships, whatever it might be. I am taking that responsibility, even if for 10 minutes,
right,
to try to bring some relaxation, some joy, some humor, some fun. And that is what we're trying to do in this 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it's not that we're not taking these things lightly. It's obviously very serious and things that need to be focused on and acknowledged, and for people to seek the proper assistance that that they need. And if you think someone needs the assistance, stand up and help them. And show that. And we will just continue to do our part, which is to entertain, and for me to continue to make fun of Mike Guido for the fact that he wants to lead off the show with the Dallas Cowboys.
Which will never get old. On that note, we will head to break. Coming up next, are the Bills, should they still be considered one of the better teams in the AFC, one of the best teams in the AFC? We'll touch on that next.
What up, Cowboys Nation? We are Cowboys Can Fan.
You know, like Canadian fan. And we're big Dallas Cowboy fans. We live stream every Dallas Cowboys game with our unapologetic, intoxicated play-by-play and color commentary, and we guarantee you won't find anything like this anywhere else.
We do that in the ring together?
We told you not so bland was here to stay, baby.
And if you like to have a couple cold ones,
Crack 'em if you got 'em, son. Crack 'em if you got 'em, son.
Crack 'em if you got 'em. And watch the Dallas Cowboys play football.
you need to join us 1 hour before the Cowboys kick off, throw your score prediction in our live chat, and if you're right, guess what? We'll send you a shirt, some Can Fan merch. Click the link, check us out, and subscribe if you like what we do.
Oh, and remember, BYOB.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Bring your own boosh.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Bryson Carver, and I'm the host of the Carving It Up podcast right here on the Grid Network, as well as my own personal YouTube channel, Carving It Up with Bryson Carver. On my show, talk about a number of the biggest topics in the world of sports, as well as culture and entertainment, and I include special segments such as Bryson's Best 10, The Vol View, and one of my favorites, Carving Up the Context. I also like to invite special guests on the show to get different insights and perspectives on topics, and most importantly, I love to hear from you, the audience, in the chat below. So check out Carving It Up 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube, Facebook, X, and on Instagram. Check the show out anywhere you get your podcasts as well as on the YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys.
Alex Rodriguez is coming out with a documentary, and it goes into detail. Like, he's never talked about the steroid part of it and all the pressure. You will do a lot more desperate things to try to stay relevant, and you can see that he was straining to be this person that he wasn't, instead of just being the person that he always should have been. Just, I'm Alex Rodriguez, because of imposter syndrome. He had to be somebody that he wasn't. Goes to the Yankees, gets another big fucking contract. I empathize with that, because when you're this great player and people are looking at you and they're looking through you, it makes you realize that maybe Alex doesn't matter. I have to be A-Rod.
Yo, this is Barry Grant Jr. I want to give a big shout out to Mike and Josh, and be on the lookout for more clips from All Even Podcast.
This is Patrick L. Brown, lead journalist here at the Grid Network, reminding you to make sure that you check out all of the latest articles over on the Grid's webpage under the blog section. There you will find the hottest takes in sports, mixed in with some mental health articles as well. Dare to be different? Enter the Grid, your new leaders in digital media, sports, and entertainment. As I always say, stay tuned.
Well, thank you, Patrick. Thank you for welcoming us back in here on the Grid Network. Mike and Josh here. It is great to have you with us. If you are just being introduced to the show, I'm glad you're catching us early, getting on floor here as you make your mental investment. So let's
make a mental investment. You can make a financial investment. We can post our Venmos. We could do whatever's needed. Whatever it takes for you guys to be entertained by us, as long as it involves you giving us money, then we're game. I mean, how do you think Mike afforded that vacation he was just on?
It's true.
After one show. Show, he was able to afford a vacation.
Yeah, right. And I think Josh needs a new Orlando Magic basketball behind him with another Stuff the Magic Dragon. Maybe.
I do. I mean, I got stuff up there, but like right on my desk, I got stuff hanging out with me here. So, you know, we're making progress. That is not Stuff the Magic Dragon that you just showed there.
That is a minion, and
that was a minion.
Off to a wild start here on Mike and Josh here exclusively on the Grid Network. Plenty of stuff to go over today. Let's talk about the Bills for a minute. So right now, Buffalo is they hold the first wild card spot in the AFC. They are they're back in the division to the Patriots, who are 9-2. The Patriots feel very, very legit. Like that's a good football team.
Yeah.
Buffalo, though, coming off a very, very nice win against the Buccaneers in Buffalo, where Josh Allen seemingly went full Superman, right?
Yep.
6 total touchdowns, 3
Dude's
in the
unreal.
air, 3 on the ground. He truly is remarkable. And I get shit all the time because I gas up Josh Allen probably more than anybody. And of course, our good buddy Bryson Carver makes fun of me for it because he's a Josh Allen hater, and I'm very much the opposite of that.
I have many questions about our co-host Bryson now. If he hates Josh Allen and still thinks the Chiefs are like the top team in the NFL, so he has some very questionable takes, which is more so why you should also tune into his show so you can listen to the crazy takes and interact with it as well, along with all the other great shows on the Grid Network.
That's true. Eventually, we'll get him on here too, and he can, defend himself publicly instead.
No, I like bashing someone without them being able to defend themselves. That makes me feel strong.
It's true. That's true. Well, that's the best thing when their backs turned.
Yeah.
Have you seen that Shane Gillis bit where
I don't know if I've seen this one.
He made fun of Navy SEALs. You have to have seen that.
Oh, but
that's
I might have, but that's not someone you make fun of.
Well, no, he was making a joke about like his new girlfriend's ex-boyfriend was like a Navy SEAL or something. So he was making fun of
I think I have seen that.
Yes. Sneaking up on guys, night vision. That's a coward's way to fight. Like all respect to Navy SEALs, by the way. That does not reflect the feelings of this show. Anywho,
the views and opinions that Mike Guido say are not Josh Tariff's.
That's true. Well, listen, they're not mine. I'm just I'm repeating something. Golly. Anywho, so where do the Bills stand, Josh? I mean, look, right now they're holding on to a wild card spot. They're back in the division, obviously, to the Patriots, to the 9-2 Patriots. They said it's 7-3 right now. Denver's 9-2. The Colts are 8-2. Where should we consider the Bills right now in the AFC pecking order?
The Bills are still one of the top. Excuse me. Sick. The Bills are still one of the top teams in the AFC, even though it's looking less and less like they're going to win their own division this year. It's just the Patriots are far exceeding their expectations for this season. But that said, Josh Allen is still the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. And as long as he's the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, they're going to be a top team. They're even having, trouble with their receivers. Dalton Kincaid out. Keon Coleman, not quite sure what's going on with him because he's not panning out to whatever they were hoping.
Yeah, right.
So he's still finding ways between Shakir, Dawson Knox, obviously James Cook tearing it up as well. And we know Josh Allen can do it in the air or on the ground.
Yeah.
Where now he has reached, or did he reach or did he surpass Cam Newton for most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback?
I think he did surpass it.
Which, when we have lived in the era of Mike Vick, Cam Newton, and now Lamar Jackson, and the Jalen Hurts tush push, the fact that actually it's Josh Allen that has the most rushing touchdowns for a quarterback is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And are they perfect? Of course not. They certainly have some holes. We just talked a little bit about the receivers. Their defense has been giving up a little more than what they should be.
They can't stop the run. They really struggle against the run.
So they have their flaws. That said, it's going to be one of those scenarios when playoffs come, because they will be in the playoffs. There's no doubt about that in my mind. And then a matter of who they match up with, because if they get one of those youth versus experience playoff matchups, the experience tends to win. So as much as I love the Patriots right now, if somehow they were to match up in the first round of the playoffs, Patriots-Bills, I would be betting on the Bills in that game. Now, we got to wait and see, because right now the Patriots could very well have that first round bye, so they wouldn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So Josh Allen, to me, even also with his incredible performance, because we know you're not getting 3 in the air and 3 on the ground every single Sunday, but that performance puts him back in the MVP conversation.
Yeah, it does.
Because with all the issues that they're having on the offensive side with their receivers and injury to Kincaid, like we talked about, he's still putting the entire team on his back and leading them to victories. So I really think it's a 3-man. I mean, it should still be a 4-man race, including Jonathan Taylor. It's amazing how Jonathan Taylor on a bye week is forgotten in this conversation because he just didn't play. But it's really Drake May, Matt Stafford, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how the season will eventually end, with those 3 in the conversation for MVP.
Yeah. No, I think you're probably right about that. I know Cowboy fans are punching the air because they want Dak Prescott to be thrown in that conversation. But,
you can't be an MVP if your team's not winning.
Exactly right. So
it's that simple.
Anyway, the Bills right now, if the playoffs were to start today, they'd be playing the Steelers. So it would be,
I would bet the house on Buffalo in that game.
I agree, but it would also, to your point, be experience versus a lot of experience. So there is something to like. Look, I think the Bills are. They are a team that they live and die by their mistakes, right? Because this is a team that doesn't necessarily have any, they struggle with controlling pace because they simply can't stop the run. They're one of the best, if not the best, run offense in the NFL. James Cook is outstanding.
Yeah.
But they're 31st in the NFL in stopping the run. They cannot do it.
Doing the math, 31. So they're better than one team. Okay.
They're better than one team. They're better.
Who's that last team? Is it the Bengals? That's my guess.
Now I have to look because I actually don't know. But they are 31st in the NFL in total run defense. So, I just the thing that worries me about Buffalo, and again, that's really it, is that if they have to go and play Jonathan Taylor in the playoffs, Jonathan Taylor's going to run for 250 yards on them. You know what I mean? The Colts will dictate the pace of that game.
But this is the crazy thing. Jonathan Taylor will rush for 250 yards, and then Josh Allen will throw for 500.
Right.
He'll find a way. He will just find a way because that's what he does.
Right. The Bills, so here it is. The only team that the Bills are better than in run defense is the Cincinnati Bengals.
I called it.
The Cincinnati Bengals give up 160 rushing yards a game on the ground.
That's a lot.
That is unbelievable. Where are they in total defense? Forget about everything. Yeah, the Bengals are the worst in total defense. They give up over 400 yards in total offense.
And now their best offensive player is suspended for spitting.
Right.
Well, and you want to talk about a franchise in complete disarray. My God.
Yeah.
Their quarterback, who they've paid an insane amount of money to, can't stay healthy. And when he is, he's phenomenal, but he can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
You've just paid 2 very talented receivers who are now locked in, and you have no offensive line. Your one good defensive player is leaving as soon as the season's done.
Right.
And you have nothing to show for it. I really don't understand how Zach Taylor still has a job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Zach Taylor's probably getting bailed out in a sense. Excuse me. He's probably getting bailed out in a sense because Joe Burrow keeps getting hurt.
But you can only do that for so long. You can only do that for so long. And then just the discipline. Your best player spits like on another player and then adamantly denies it, thinking that, no, there was no cameras in an NFL stadium that could have picked this up.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That just shows a lack of discipline in the organization.
Yeah.
And that starts with the coach.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm not even disagreeing that Zach Taylor should get fired, but like, if you want like a reason why I think he could still be there, I think it's because if Joe Burrow is not healthy, then how do we even know what this team is capable of if he's not there? You know what I mean? Like, I just, that needs to be in my mind, that needs to be the thinking as far as they are concerned. But yes, I think as far as Buffalo is concerned, they should very well be considered still among the top. I mean, I still kind of think Buffalo is better than New England. Like, and that might be like a little bit of a hot take, but if you're asking me about it, you're asking me like who I trust more. Like, I just trust the Bills more than I do in New England, especially in a year where the Chiefs could very well easily not make the playoffs. If the Chiefs are not the hump that the Bills can't get over, then I think it's wide open for Buffalo.
And you should still think the Bills could beat the Patriots because the Patriots have not been in a game like that with this roster.
Mm-hmm.
So until the Patriots win playoff games, plural, then I can start thinking, oh yeah, in the playoffs they can beat the Bills. Oh yeah, in the playoffs they can beat the Chiefs if they were to make it. Oh yeah, in the playoffs they can do this. I mean, the Patriots are an incredible story. Drake May, like we mentioned in the last segment or earlier moments ago, he is certainly battling for MVP. To me, Mike Vrabel is no question the coach of the year after he was fired.
Yeah.
And they have completely rebuilt that defense. This offense, yeah, you have Stephon Diggs, but he hasn't really been the Stephon Diggs that we know. They've built with these other receivers, Booty, and Mario Douglas has finally shown up.
You're right.
They're finally giving Trayvon Henderson the ball, who is running lights out these last couple weeks.
I know. Yeah.
So
Ramondre Stevenson should never touch the ball again in that offense.
Right.
Travion Henderson should be their guy.
But by the way, since we brought up in I was looking at Buffalo's schedule because I was looking at who do they who gets to play the Bengals in their rush defense? The Bills do get to
so do the Patriots.
In a couple weeks.
So do the Patriots.
So James Cook will have, a 200-yard game that week. Yeah. And next week, Patriots at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Dear God, start Trayvon Henderson in your fantasy team.
Yeah. He's gonna run for 1 trillion yards.
That's gonna be scary.
Here's the crazy part about the Patriots too, is that the Patriots haven't had their bye week yet, right? The next 2 weeks they're at Cincinnati and they're home against the Giants. And then they go, and then they get into their bye week. I mean, the Patriots are going to go into their bye week 11-2.
Yeah.
Without losing a game since week 3 against the Steelers. So
And then their final 4 games, Bills, Ravens, Jets, Dolphins. I mean, they realistically could go 2-2 in those last 4, or they can go 4-0.
Right.
The way they're playing.
Right.
So
what do the Broncos have left? Broncos are on a bye. Broncos are on a bye this week.
Yep.
At the Commanders,
That's
at the Raiders, home
That's
against Green Bay, home against Jacksonville, at Kansas City, and then they finish at home against the Chargers.
And that's going to be a must-win game for the Chargers that last week. So they're going to be playing.
They're full-fledged.
Patriots are going to win the AFC. And I think
they could very easily win.
And depending on how it ends up for the Rams, as far as if they're first in the NFC, then it's just a matter of looking at stats between Stafford and Drake May. Because if the Patriots end first in the AFC with all the teams that we constantly talk about in the AFC, it's kind of hard not to pick Drake May as MVP.
Right. Yeah. No, it's true. It's definitely true. You brought up Coach of the Year for a second. Mike Vrabel, I do think is among. Here's the thing. I think Mike Vrabel is among probably the 4 names that are in that discussion. I think it's going to be close between him. I think Sean Payton is in that discussion.
Sure.
I think Ben Johnson is in that discussion. And I think that Shane Steichen is probably in that discussion too.
I agree that all 4 of those are in that could be in that discussion. I'm only sliding Sean Payton away this year only because the Broncos made the playoffs last year. So, but obviously he's done an incredible. They're first in the AFC West. He's done amazing. There's no doubt about that.
And that's a bloodbath of a division.
Yeah.
That's
so I can understand votes coming in for him for that. But these other 3 teams were Patriots, or all 3 of them, I think, were picks in the top 10 in last year's draft.
Yeah.
And all 3 of those teams right now are leading their divisions.
Yep. Yeah. Crazy stuff. Really, really crazy stuff. I want to throw this out there because we're dipping back into the comment section. This either gives me a ton of credibility or eliminates all of it, because it depends on how you look at this. Patrick Brown saying this is in reference to Josh Allen. Mike is the same guy who once said Josh Allen is Kobe Bryant. He'll win you games and lose in spite of. The worst take of Mike Guido's sports career since I've known him. And he says, and Barry Grant Jr. hasn't forgotten it. Yes, that I did say that once. I did say that Josh Allen and Kobe Bryant are very similar in the sense that, like I said, you live and die by their magical moments and their mistakes, right?
They have the same amount of championships, right?
I get that part. I'm just saying, God, I'm just saying, as far as like the dynamic of them being the star of your franchise, Josh Allen and Kobe Bryant both gave you magical, unbelievable, inhumane moments. Okay.
If you're using that argument, then Josh Allen is like Paolo Banchero. And we know that's not the case.
Well,
they're the best player of their team, and if they play bad, it shows because then they lose. This is why you listen in, guys. These are the hottest type of takes. If your best player plays bad, you're likely to lose.
I don't understand. This isn't a hot take. I don't get it. It's just a comp. Like, that's all it is. Like Kobe Bryant was. People like to say that Josh Allen is obviously gifted with talent, but he throws away games, right? He tries to do too much and he throws away games. Okay. Kobe was the same way. Kobe is the all-time leader in NBA history in missed shots. Kobe was the ultimate bad shot taker. That's not like a totally out of left field sort of thing. No.
If you're using that argument, I feel then Brett Favre is closer to Kobe than Josh Allen. Because Brett Favre, how many incompleted interceptions did he throw?
You know what's funny is that I said in the
if
grid
you're using this as an argument
in the grid group chat, I did say that Josh Allen was Brett Favre with better legs. That's what I said. No joke. I'm a comp guy. Okay, this is what I do.
We need to comp your comps.
We need to.
Well, I mean, what the? Why? Kobe's the Mamba mentality. I mean, now I feel like I'm insulting Josh Allen when I say that Kobe has more mentality than Josh Allen, because obviously Josh Allen has incredible mentality for the game. The fact that you're trying to compare the guy who would always just put the basketball game on his shoulders.
Yes.
And if he won, he won. If he lost, he lost. But he missed so many shots. Compared to the guy who, when he puts the game on his shoulders, succeeds. But then there was still 30 seconds left on the clock for Patrick Mahomes to come in, and then their defense blew it, or coin toss blew it because of overtime rules. But that's somehow how we're comparing the two.
That's a really good point.
You're out of your damn mind.
Come on. You almost made my point for me just now.
How did that make your point? I just proved it wrong.
Because does Josh Allen not do the same thing?
I literally just said he didn't. Because he drives them down and scores, but then the defense blows it. Not him playing
Kobe's
defense.
experienced that too. I mean, tell Steve Blake to start playing defense. Seriously.
10 points to you for remembering the name Steve Blake.
Okay, there you go. Listen, you remember the Jeremy Lin, Jordan Hill, Nick Young, Lakers days.
Oh, greatest center of all time, Robert Sacre.
Greatest center of all, right, 100%. 100%. Washed up Andrew Bynum. All right, let's go to break. When we come back, the Rams very well easily could be, Josh, the best team in the NFC.
Yeah.
And does anybody even care?
No. And I live in LA, and I can tell you all about that.
We'll talk about that coming up next.
Cowboys Nation, what up? It's your boy EJ Savage over here at Boys in the Zone, where it's everything Cowboys related, from the latest news, off-season talk like training camp and draft analysis, and of course, during season game breakdowns and commentary. Would love to see you in the chat kicking it with myself and other members of Cowboys Nation, whether it be a guest that I myself bring in, or a Cowboys fan forum videos where I bring you guys on, or even other chat members. We're always live on Twitter and YouTube, talking the boys. So really, the only thing left to say is, how about them Cowboys? See you there. Peace.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Tim Barnett, and welcome into the Boston Sports Summit. If you're a fan of any of these four teams right here, or you're like me and you love all four of them and you follow them religiously, you're a big fan, this is the show for you. The big thing with this is real commentary and authenticity. I'm going to tell you like it is. If we're great, then we're great. But if we suck, I'm going to tell you that we suck and we need to improve. I'm also not afraid to call out our ownership or front office for making bad decisions, just like I'm not afraid to call out our coaches or our players for screwing some things up or doing great. All right? Because that's what this show is all about. It's about authenticity. So listen, if you're a fan of any of these teams or you're a fan of all four of them, check me out, the Boston Sports Summit, every Wednesday, live at 7 p.m., and it's electric, all right? We're going to go into some great detail about the Sox, Patriots, Celtics, and even the Bruins, and hey, you might even get a guest appearance from my little puppy here. So, it's a great show. Don't forget to tune in every Wednesday, 7 p.m. You can also follow me on all socials, on Instagram, X, and YouTube, Boston Sports Summit. So check us out. It's a great show. It's a great time. Hope to see you there. God bless.
Alex Rodriguez is coming out with a documentary, and it goes into detail like he's never talked about the steroid part of it and all the pressure. You will do a lot more desperate things to try to stay relevant. And you can see that he was straining to be this person that he wasn't. Instead of just being the person that he always should have been. Just, I'm Alex Rodriguez, because of imposter syndrome. He had to be somebody that he wasn't. Goes to the Yankees, gets another big fucking contract. I empathize with that because when you're this great player and people are looking at you and they're looking through you, it makes you realize that maybe Alex doesn't matter. I have to be A-Rod.
Yo, this is Barry Grant Jr. I want to give a big shout out to Mike and Josh and be on the lookout for more clips from All Even Podcast.
What's going on, y'all? It's Arthur Hurst from the Grid Network, letting y'all know to check out the Saturday morning tailgate starting at 10 Eastern every Saturday. Check us out on YouTube, X, Instagram, wherever you get your podcasts. Tune in for some humor, some great analytics between me, my boy Bryson, and Tim. Again, Saturday morning tailgate every Saturday at 10 Eastern on the Grid Network. See y'all there.
This is Patrick L. Brown, lead journalist here at the Grid Network, reminding you to make sure that you check out all of the latest articles over on the Grid's webpage under the blog section. There you will find the hottest takes in sports mixed in with some mental health articles as well. Dare to be different? Enter the Grid, your new leaders in digital media, sports, and entertainment. As I always say, stay tuned.
Well, thank you again, Patrick. We are back here on Mike and Josh here exclusively on the Grid Network. I'm Mike Guido. That's Josh Tariff. Plenty of stuff to go over today. Let's close the hour with the Los Angeles Rams, right? So you live in LA, Josh.
This is true.
And they are, I mean, they could very easily be the best team in the NFC. They very easily, I mean, right now, they are tied with the Eagles for the top team in the NFC. They're 8-2 right now. They could very easily have the MVP quarterbacking their team. And this is a good division, right? Seahawks are good. The Niners are pretty good. Listen, the Rams have been impressive so far this season. Sean McVay has coached his ass off so far this year. But it's funny when we name the show, does anybody even care about the Rams being in first place? So you live in LA. Does anybody even care about the Rams right now?
The Rams and Chargers for that matter, I find fascinating. So as someone who grew up in Massachusetts, obviously around all Boston sports fans, went to college in Ohio with loyal, diehard Cleveland fans, especially because most of the time Cleveland teams are not good. Mm-hmm. And then I come to LA. You got loyal Dodger fans. You have some loyal Laker fans. And I can probably count on my fingers the amount of legit Rams and Charger fans that I personally know in LA. I get that the Rams have been back in LA for like 9 years now, since they came back from St. Louis. But there are some teams that certainly have fan bases that travel well. I cannot tell you the last time I watched a Rams game on television where the Rams had the majority of the fan base in SoFi Stadium.
Isn't that crazy?
Big division game against Seattle. Great defensive matchup by both teams. Both defenses played great. Offense is questionable.
Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions in that game.
But Seattle's defense kept them in until the end.
It's true. Yeah.
And you would have thought that was the 12th man on TV.
Yeah.
The Rams have, as we talked about earlier this hour, potential MVP candidate. Sean McVay is also a potential Coach of the Year candidate. Puka Nacua is potential Offensive Player of the Year candidate. You got a great young defense. Also, by the way, you have the Falcons draft pick this year, which is going to be in the top 10. So now you're just waltzing in to pick your heir apparent to Matt Stafford. And no one in LA cares. It boggles my mind that, like, I have a friend who has season tickets to the Rams. And this friend, for, I would say, 75% of the games that they have tickets for, sells them to fans of the other team and makes a good profit off their season tickets.
That's amazing.
Because, excuse me, oh, the Seahawks are in town? Oh, there's this not one Seattle fan in LA, because they all travel. They all take the flight down here. You got Pittsburgh. We know they travel. Bears fans. We know they travel. Don't get me started on Niners and Raiders. Yeah. Those games, it's 90% Niners and Raiders in SoFi.
Yeah.
So I want to throw this to you. What does a team have to do in a major market like LA, one of the top 3 markets in sports, to have a legit fan base? Because it's not like the issue is, they have to win games. Not only are they winning, they just won a Super Bowl a few years ago. So it's not like they've been bad for a long time. Yep. They have been good. They're the best team in the NFC right now, along with the Eagles. And yeah, when Philly comes to LA, good luck finding a Rams jersey in SoFi.
Yeah, right.
What can a team do to gain more fans?
They can not be in LA. That's the running joke, right, about Los Angeles, is that none of their fans are real. I mean,
I disagree with that, though. Dodger fans are incredibly loyal. Yeah. Even when they're bad. Dodger fans nonstop. Lakers, yes, it's touch and go. And part of that is also just because the tickets are so damn expensive. So that's an issue there. But you're right. Clippers fans, very few of. Angel fans, they don't exist. Rams, Chargers fans, where are they?
Don't exist. What is a What is an Angels fan? What is a Clippers fan? But that's got to be another one, right? Nobody likes the Clippers in LA.
A close friend of mine is a lifelong diehard Clippers fan. He's probably the only lifelong diehard Clippers fan I know. And we go every year when the Magic come to town. So we always go to that game together. To root on our teams.
Yeah.
And I was just into it a couple weeks ago when the Clippers played the Heat. And the biggest response in the crowd was for Norman Powell's return.
Yeah.
And Norman Powell lit him up.
Yeah.
So they're rooting for a player on the opposite team as opposed to trying to root for their own team.
Yeah.
And I mean, we should have a whole segment just on the disaster that is the Clippers this season.
I know. We might talk about that later about how
I
Clippers very easily could have let their best scorer walk because of what Norman Powell's been able to do in Miami.
But it goes back to, LA fans in general, besides Dodger fans, they're loyal whether they're good or bad. And obviously these last few years, they have every right to feel good because they've been great.
Yeah.
But when football is the most popular sport in America, and you have not one, two teams that are playoff worthy teams, and no one comes to root them on.
Can I throw this out there as an idea? Football is very different from basketball, especially, but football is a very, very team-oriented sport.
Yes.
Very much so. Okay. LA is where the stars shine the brightest, right? Like in LA, it's all about, if you're it's Ohtani, right? Like it's Mookie Betts. It's, it was Clayton Kershaw for however many years, right? for the Lakers, it was Kobe for so long, and it was Shaq for so long, and it was, now it's LeBron and Anthony Davis, and like now it's
and ain't Anthony Davis anymore.
Well, Anthony Davis is he's a different discussion, but I'm sorry, not Anthony, Luka Doncic. Sorry, let's just return that. Anywho, but that like everything that is super star oriented, where all the attention is focused on one guy, that seems to thrive in LA. Where it's not, those are the things that suffer.
Okay, well, you got an MVP candidate in Matt Stafford. There's an individual guy.
Certainly.
You got Devontae Adams, who's still all over the Taco Bell commercials. So he's recognizable. And you got the guy who's in the running against Jonathan Taylor for Offensive Player of the Year in Puka Nacua.
Get Devontae Adams in an In-N-Out commercial, and then I think,
that might
be more popular.
That might be a conflict of interest with his Taco Bell contract.
Well, listen, tell him to leave Taco Bell.
All right, hold on. Let me just grab my phone and shoot a text real quick.
Go to In-N-Out.
Because in LA, we all have everyone's number. So let me just text Devontae Adams here.
That's small little town, right? Small town, LA. Oh boy, love that. But
okay,
all
I
right.
put a wink emoji next to it, so we'll see if he responds.
That's good, perfect. And I think there's no way he doesn't answer you. Obviously, in the condition that you're in right now, absolutely not. There's no way.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, let's talk live on the grid about this scenario and get you in a deal with In-N-Out. I mean, why wouldn't he jump on this?
Is In-N-Out good? Like I've had In-N-Out once. I'm from the East Coast. I live in New York. Okay. I've had In-N-Out once in my life. I went to go visit my great aunt and uncle. We took a vacation down to San Diego. They live in about an hour outside of Phoenix, and we drove through to San Diego. And we stopped at In-N-Out on the way. And from what I remember, it wasn't altogether that memorable. You an In-N-Out guy?
So you're just trying to get the entire West Coast to hate me right now.
Oh God. Here we go.
Because Whataburger is so much better than In-N-Out.
Oh my God, yes, it is. 100%.
And
100%.
I will die on that hill. In-N-Out, their burgers, I'm a big fan of the burger. I enjoy their burgers. Fries are trash. But my problem with In-N-Out is you have 4 items on the menu, and then you have 50 different secret menu items, which is just combinations of those 4 things that are on the menu. Whataburger, at least you have depth and options to choose from. Okay, you want to say the In-N-Out burger is better than the Whataburger burger? I'm not going to argue that. You can make that case. That's fine. What about the other 197 items on the Whataburger menu? That's open 24 hours, by the way. In-N-Out is not.
Yeah. Whataburger. I wish we had a Whataburger.
And this was a couple years ago now. I had one of my childhood best friends went out to Vegas with his at the time fiance, now partner, and I met up with him for a few days. And his partner was actually excited because there was an In-N-Out near where we were staying, and he was just like, "Hey, you know what? I have never tried In-N-Out." And I told him, like, "We'll go have it. I'm actually very curious as an East Coast person how you're going to feel about it." He sits, he has it, he takes a couple bites, and he looks at me and he says, "I would rather have McDonald's." And I was just like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah.
That is going to hurt so many people's feelings.
Yeah. But you know what? I think there is some truth to that, though. There really is.
So now that our California demographic has plummeted to the toilet.
Dissipated, yeah.
We're now huge in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe we should talk to Cowboys more then. If we're going to be big in Texas because of Whataburger. That
was all part of the plan.
You know what?
Part of the plan.
My sincere apologies to you. I didn't see the full picture. That's on
You're
me.
right.
That's
the
on me.
Genius that I have constructed. All right. Coming up next, speaking about making people angry, I'm going to tell you why Aaron Judge winning the MVP in the American League should not have been close. We'll touch on that. Top of the hour coming up next.
What up, Cowboys Nation? We are Cowboys Can Fan.
You know, like Canadian fan. And we're big Dallas Cowboy fans. We live stream every Dallas Cowboys game with our unapologetic, intoxicated play-by-play and color commentary, and we guarantee you won't find anything like this anywhere else.
We do that in the ring together?
We told you not so bland was here to stay, baby.
And if you like to have a couple cold ones,
Crack 'em if you got 'em, son. Crack 'em if you got 'em, son.
Crack 'em if you got 'em. And watch the Dallas Cowboys play football.
you need to join us 1 hour before the Cowboys kick off, throw your score prediction in our live chat, and if you're right, guess what? We'll send you a shirt, some Can Fan merch. Click the link, check us out, and subscribe if you like what we do.
Oh, and remember, BYOB.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Bring your own boosh.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Bryson Carver, and I'm the host of the Carving It Up podcast right here on the Grid Network, as well as my own personal YouTube channel, Carving It Up with Bryson Carver. On my show, talk about a number of the biggest topics in the world of sports, as well as culture and entertainment, and I include special segments such as Bryson's Best 10, The Ball View, and one of my favorites, Carving Up the Context. I also like to invite special guests on the show to get different insights and perspectives on topics, and most importantly, I love to hear from you, the audience, in the chat below. So check out Carving It Up 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube, Facebook, X, and on Instagram. Check the show out anywhere you get your podcasts as well as on the YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys.
Alex Rodriguez is coming out with a documentary, and it goes into detail. Like, he's never talked about the steroid part of it and all the pressure. You will do a lot more desperate things to try to stay relevant, and you can see that he was straining to be this person that he wasn't, instead of just being the person that he always should have been. Just, I'm Alex Rodriguez, because of imposter syndrome. He had to be somebody that he wasn't. Goes to the Yankees, gets another big fucking contract. I empathize with that, because when you're this great player and people are looking at you and they're looking through you, it makes you realize that maybe Alex doesn't matter. I have to be A-Rod.
Yo, this is Barry Grant Jr. I want to give a big shout out to Mike and Josh, and be on the lookout for more clips from All Even Podcast.
This is Patrick L. Brown, lead journalist here at the Grid Network, reminding you to make sure that you check out all of the latest articles over on the Grid's webpage under the blog section. There you will find the hottest takes in sports, mixed in with some mental health articles as well. Dare to be different? Enter the Grid, your new leaders in digital media, sports, and entertainment. As I always say, stay tuned.
Well, thank you again, Patrick. This is the Mike and Josh show, I suppose. I should have just said Mike.
There you go. We
Yeah,
got it.
I don't know. There we go. We got there eventually. It's Mike and Josh here on the Grid Network, exclusively here on the Grid Network. Plenty of stuff to go over today. Let's start the hour with this. So I've kind of gone a bit off the rails, at least personally, where this AL MVP race that is now over, right? Aaron Judge won the American League MVP over Cal Raleigh. And it's his third MVP in 4 years, yada, yada, yada. Here's the thing. The thing that aggravates me the most about this whole discussion is when people say, you know, there really wasn't a wrong answer. I mean, I feel like you could have, you could have given either one of them the MVP and felt pretty good about it. Like, shut up.
That's why there have been co-MVPs before.
They shouldn't have been co-MVPs.
I'm not saying they should have, but I'm saying if you felt that strongly about that, then you could have done co-MVPs.
Right.
So there was a right and wrong.
Aaron Judge is the MVP, and it should not have been close. I know that everybody wants so bad for one of two things, okay? Or both. Aaron Judge to not win the MVP, or have a catcher win MVP. I know they want that so badly, but can we actually put things into perspective like a real human being?
Well, here's the real human being aspect of this. Trade the players. Have Aaron Judge be on the Mariners, Cal Raleigh on the Yankees. Same stats.
Yeah.
Who wins MVP?
Aaron Judge.
Wrong.
No way. No way. No way.
They would. Dan Patrick couldn't have said this better the other day on his show.
I know.
If Cal Raleigh hit 60 home runs as a catcher for the Yankees and led him to win a division, they would build a statue for him.
The Yankees?
Yes. If he did that for the Yankees, they would be honoring him to no end. 60 home runs as a catcher for the Yankees and for that market. This goes back into the market talking we were talking about with the Cowboys earlier.
Yes.
Cal Raleigh achieved something on a team that hasn't achieved anything.
Right. Good for him.
And it could and should have been rewarded. I agree with you. There is a right and wrong, and the wrong happened. Aaron Judge, I'm not.
That's
and it's
crazy.
Not Aaron Judge is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he's going to win MVPs again. There's no doubt about that. And his season was nothing short of phenomenal. It wasn't better than Cal Raleigh's.
Oh my God, Josh, come on! It wasn't better than Aaron Judge's OPS is 200 points higher. 200. It's not close.
When you look at what they do in the position along with the hitting, you got to look at the total aspect of things.
Yes.
And again, if Cal Raleigh did not have this season, the incredible record-breaking season that he had, I'd have zero argument with Aaron Judge winning MVP. Because he was incredible.
If Cal Raleigh played first base.
If Cal Raleigh played first base, then you can make the argument that Aaron Judge should have won MVP.
But because Cal Raleigh plays catcher, that means that forget about 200 extra points of OPS. Forget about every other statistic that favors Aaron Judge. Forget about it. Because he plays catcher.
This is also, in a way, while there was no doubt in the mind as far as Ohtani winning NL MVP again, part of that involves the fact that he pitches.
Ohtani pitched for like 2 months.
I know, and it's all about what do you do like towards the end of that season, right? That's when everyone votes.
So Ohtani, when Ohtani won MVP when he wasn't pitching, when Ohtani wasn't playing the field at all.
Well, sure. No, I'm not saying Ohtani didn't deserve it. I'm just saying the fact that he was doing what he did as a hitter while pitching helps influence the votes, which also, in the case of Cal Raleigh, when you are a catcher, which is unusual, incredibly unusual to have stats like these while playing that position, that should take effect. But what happens is that doesn't impact as much as the market that the player is in. If Cal Raleigh, let's forget the Yankees. If Cal Raleigh played for Boston, if Cal Raleigh played in if he played maybe even in Detroit, who obviously is still a bigger baseball market than Seattle, it would probably lean more towards Cal Raleigh. The Yankee factor played into this. And this is not a shot at Aaron Judge.
I disagree completely. If anything, the Yankee factor played against Aaron Judge. I think, without a doubt. You don't have any idea how many people feel exactly the way you do?
A lot.
Exactly. People are tired of the Yankees. People are tired of Yankee players winning MVP, right? People are the voter fatigue that came with Aaron Judge was astronomical.
People are treating the Yankees like the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
Because it's, again, the big market. So even if they don't do well, they're still always the top story. Now, obviously, you just said in the last hour, why is Dak Prescott not getting MVP votes?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the Cowboy fans generally are probably saying that.
But when you're doing something with a team that hasn't been done in so long, plus then you're making history in your own position, and it's because you put that team on your back, that deserves the recognition. Aaron Judge.
You've seen what the Yankees are without Aaron Judge. The Yankees are horrible without Aaron Judge.
How are the Mariners without Cal Raleigh?
They weren't terrible without him. Virtually, Cal Raleigh at the second half of the year after the All-Star break was brutally bad. Cal Raleigh barely hit 200 at the second half of the year. He wasn't good at all. But listen, I'm not taking anything away from what Cal Raleigh did this year. I think it's phenomenal what he did. But Cal Raleigh, I think, got more love than he deserved, not because of what he did as a catcher. It's because what the lack of what players did as catchers for so long, right? When was the last time, like you said, there was a halfway decent offensive catcher in baseball, right?
Piazza?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So every other catcher that's ever existed, okay, is I shouldn't say ever existed, but every other catcher since 2004 has been mediocre at best. And Cal Raleigh, again, 60 home runs. The guy hit 240. He hit 240. Aaron Judge hit 330 and hit 53 homers. The difference between Aaron Judge's, if you took the same gap, I'm sure you've seen this, the same gap in numbers between Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh, it's the same gap as Cal Raleigh to the 77th ranked player in baseball at OPS. It's not close. It's not close. And I get it. I truly get the catcher thing. I genuinely do. But I cannot believe how overplayed that is. It's just overplayed. If Cal Raleigh had an OPS of 1050, if he had somewhere even close to the number, you could say, okay, maybe close the gap a little. This is legitimately a 200-point difference in OPS. Every single WAR metric that you want to throw out there, Aaron Judge still had him. I can't.
And this is exactly why Jonathan Taylor won't be considered for MVP in the NFL.
Yeah, well, right. You don't have to. Right, I get that.
Because we put other positions on such a higher pedestal, and that's
right.
exactly. I mean, it's the norm, you know, with baseball. You know, like your MVP is typically outfield or first base because they're hitting the most home runs. Now all of a sudden, this other position came out of nowhere. We just said 20 some odd years that there's been not just a good home run hitter at that position, but the leader in that position.
Yeah.
And based on history and based on markets, we will lean elsewhere. And the argument is valid. I'm not saying it's not a valid argument. It's just the fact that we witnessed something so out of the box and out of absolute nowhere. And it was, while there was a little, downward slope after the All-Star break, it's not like he went away. He was still the home run leader for a team that normally is not in the playoffs, and we're one game away from the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And for those people that are just listening to this, I want you to go to the YouTube page so you can, over these last 5 minutes, acknowledge the vein that has been popping out of Mike's forehead for this topic.
Acknowledge the vein.
I'm trying to calm it down because I'm just worried for his health.
It's true. I'm giving myself an aneurysm. You're right. I will. I just again, it really is. It's truthfully rage baiting, but I'm so tired of people saying you could have given it to both guys. Like, no, you couldn't have given it to both guys. Okay, either pick one or the other. Be done with it. If you're a Cal Raleigh guy, you're a Cal Raleigh guy. If you're an Aaron Judge guy, you're an Aaron Judge guy. Like, just deal with it. There's a right and wrong answer. Aaron Judge is the right answer, and if you like to be wrong, then just say it was Cal Raleigh. Sure.
Don't
say it could have been both. That's crazy.
Can we get someone to make Mike some tea or just
I'm sweating.
Just get him a towel. I'm worried.
During the next break, I might have to fill up my water cup here. What cup do I have? Islanders. I don't even watch hockey, but I don't even like hockey, but I have an Islanders cup here that's empty and probably needs to be filled to hydrate myself. Oh boy. So yeah, I'm done. I'm done with that. I just, I needed to get that out. Listen, my baseball show's on hiatus for now. Okay. Because it's the off season. So this is the only air I can breathe when it comes to this, other than just lighting my Twitter fingers on fire. That's all I have, Josh. Okay.
Why did I get punished for having to be the
well, look, the way you can look at this is I wasn't yelling at you. I was yelling through you.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
I'm crying on the inside a little bit.
I know. I'm gonna have to massage your feelings a little bit for the next 37 minutes.
Can we get a therapist to call in? Because I need couples counseling with you after our second episode.
Yeah, right. So after the first episode, I went on vacation, and now we need couples.
And now you're coming back and blaming me for saying that someone that did something that has never been done before should have been MVP.
Yeah,
and now I'm being put on timeout.
Yeah, where's the dunce cap? That's what we need. We need a dunce cap. I thought you were. I swear to God, I thought
you thought I had a dunce cap on my desk.
Did. Yeah.
I assure you.
Meanwhile, I was just reaching the stuff
this would not be the segment that I would put it on because I do not deserve the dunce cap for this.
Do I deserve the dunce cap for this? Is what
I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious if we're going to get any comments about this take and see who sides with who on this one.
I really, please chime in the comment section. Oh boy. Listen, from here on out, we're flying off the cuff. We'll be back after this.
What up, Cowboys Nation? We are Cowboys Can Fan.
Like Canadian fan. And we're big Dallas Cowboy fans.
We live stream every Dallas Cowboys game with our unapologetic, intoxicated play-by-play and color commentary, and we guarantee you won't find anything like this anywhere else.
We do that in the ring together?
We told you not so bland was here to stay, baby.
And if you like to have a couple cold ones,
Crack 'em if you got 'em, son.
Crack 'em if you got 'em, son. Crack 'em if you got 'em. And watch the Dallas Cowboys play football.
you need to join us 1 hour before the Cowboys kick off, throw your score prediction in our live chat, and if you're right, guess what? We'll send you a shirt, some Can Fan merch.
Click the link, check us out, and subscribe if you like what we do.
Oh, and remember, BYOB.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Bring your own boosh.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Bryson Carver, and I'm the host of the Carving It Up podcast right here on the Grid Network, as well as my own personal YouTube channel, Carving It Up with Bryson Carver. On my show, talk about a number of the biggest topics in the world of sports, as well as culture and entertainment, and I include special segments such as Bryson's Best 10, The Vol View, and one of my favorites, Carving Up the Context. I also like to invite special guests on the show to get different insights and perspectives on topics, and most importantly, I love to hear from you, the audience, in the chat below. So check out Carving It Up 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube, Facebook, X, and on Instagram. Check the show out anywhere you get your podcasts as well as on the YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys.
Alex Rodriguez is coming out with a documentary, and it goes into detail. Like, he's never talked about the steroid part of it and all the pressure. You will do a lot more desperate things to try to stay relevant, and you can see that he was straining to be this person that he wasn't, instead of just being the person that he always should have been. Just, I'm Alex Rodriguez, because of imposter syndrome. He had to be somebody that he wasn't. Goes to the Yankees, gets another big fucking contract. I empathize with that, because when you're this great player and people are looking at you and they're looking through you, it makes you realize that maybe Alex doesn't matter. I have to be A-Rod.
Yo, this is Barry Grant Jr. I want to give a big shout out to Mike and Josh, and be on the lookout for more clips from All Even Podcast.
This is Patrick L. Brown, lead journalist here at the Grid Network, reminding you to make sure that you check out all of the latest articles over on the Grid's webpage under the blog section. There you will find the hottest takes in sports, mixed in with some mental health articles as well. Dare to be different? Enter the Grid, your new leaders in digital media, sports, and entertainment. As I always say, stay tuned.
Cowboys Nation, what up? It's your boy EJ Savage over here at Boys in the Zone, where it's everything Cowboys related, from the latest news, off-season talk like training camp and draft analysis, and of course, during season game breakdowns and commentary. Would love to see you in the chat kicking it with myself and other members of Cowboys Nation, whether it be a guest that I myself bring in, or a Cowboys fan forum videos where I bring you guys on, or even other chat members. We're always live on Twitter and YouTube, talking the boys. So really, the only thing left to say is, how about them Cowboys? See you there. Peace.
All right, good to be back here on Mike and Josh here exclusively on the Grid Network. I want to start. We have not talked NBA at all, by the way, since we started this show. So let's start by doing that. The Clippers suck.
Yep. Yes, they do.
They really do suck. Cool. No. I mean, and I think that is something that maybe could have been expected, being a team that's been led by, right now, James Harden at this point of his career. But they're 4-10. They're down there with, the Kings, and boy, oh boy, are they terrible. And they're down there with the Mavericks, who I'm kind of surprised are in the position they're in right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Is there anything more to say about the Clippers other than the fact that they just suck, or what's the deal?
Well, it's a good reminder that the Thunder have their pick this year. So, the team that is currently 14-1 is going to have a lottery pick. And man, we knew going into this season, all right, well, the Clippers are the statistically oldest team in the league.
Yeah.
They were still projected to be a top 4 team in the West with the roster that they had, because it's like, all right, Kawhi is healthy. You're bringing in John Collins. Hey, can Chris Paul help off the bench like he did a little bit with the Spurs last year? Harden be Harden. James Harden is the greatest regular season player in the history of the NBA. Uh, and the way he's playing right now, he's going to be in playoff mode by the All-Star break because he's doing everything he can for this team. And they're at a point, obviously you're having the controversy with aspiration. Aspire or whatever it was called, with the Kawhi situation.
Right.
You got the sports betting situation. How are the Clippers involved? Is Ty Lue kind of involved in it since he's good buddies with Damon Jones and Chauncey Billups and all of them? And then you got the All-Star game coming into it this season. And you have no picks. And your team has plummeted. And obviously you have pieces that teams would want. Some teams would want this version of James Harden at the end of his career. A lot of teams would want Zubac.
Yeah.
Teams would want John Collins. You bring in Bradley Beal, hope that he can, reignite what he once had. He's out for the year. Derrick Jones Jr. just got hurt, and he's out for several weeks. I don't normally like saying to push the panic button on a team in the NBA, especially before Christmas.
Right.
But this team is done.
Yeah.
This era with this roster is done.
Yeah.
And you need to say goodbye to Ty Lue. You need to say goodbye to Lawrence Frank. You need to trade Harden, probably trade Zubac, and get picks and rebuild. Because here's the one thing, the Clippers try to be different than the Lakers. They want to be like, no, we're the other LA team. We have this arena. It's the best arena in all of sports, the Intuit Dome. You have to go visit the Intuit Dome at some point in your life. But you're not going to be different than the Lakers if all you're typically doing is bringing in talent.
Yeah.
And hoping that they bring you a ring. The Lakers, 90% of their roster, they bring in. And because if they have decent rookies that they then develop, they then trade them away to get other veterans. Depending on how they do this season, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to trade Austin Reeves. They shouldn't, but I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do it.
Right.
The Clippers need to draft and groom. Problem is you can't draft if you don't have picks.
Right. Yeah.
So you got to trade these players away to get picks.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care where you send them, but you need to rebuild.
Yeah.
And you need to get a new coach that would be able to work with young talent to develop them.
Right. Yeah. This is the Clippers right now are in the phase. Like this is the byproduct of the initial Steve Ballmer all-in try.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like this is the byproduct of that. Signing Kawhi Leonard, signing Paul George, right? Then trading everything you have to go get James Harden and doing whatever the hell else they did to front load this roster. This is the byproduct of that. I don't think, based on the hype of what they were, I don't know that there's been a bigger failure in the NBA than the Clippers in modern history. Like they really, and in both of their efforts, right? Obviously, more recently, you have everything with Kawhi and Paul George, but even dating back to Lob City, right? When it came to Chris Paul and Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, at their peaks of their career. I mean, those were talented enough teams to win titles too, and they simply just never could get over the hump. I mean, they are in the phase now where you're 100% right, where they simply need to get rid of what they can get rid of, trade whatever they can for whatever. Like They could be second-round picks. Just get younger bodies into the building. This needs to they need to dissipate this regime of Clipper basketball. If that means that you have to be the Nets for 3 years, then you have to be the Nets for 3 years.
Yeah.
That sucks, but you suck now and there's no upward trajectory. There's none. And especially in this Western Conference. I mean, you look at what this West has to provide, right? Obviously, the Thunder are unbelievable. The Nuggets are still very good. Obviously, Jokic, at the peak of his career. The Lakers have been surprisingly good without LeBron so far this year, right? The Spurs with Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox and those that's a real team. Anthony Edwards, Kevin Durant's Houston Rockets. This is a tough Western Conference. And that's not to count, by the way, the Warriors and this is still a ridiculous West.
And Portland is on the rise as well, in the Western Conference.
With young talent.
Right, with young pieces that they're grooming and developing.
Right, exactly. And Portland isn't necessarily good yet, but
but you see the potential.
Right, they have a direction. The Clippers are just plummeting. They are plummeting.
The Mavericks, to your point, though, they're right with them because, hey, you went all in. Tried to make the trade with Anthony Davis. We all know how that was a debacle from the second you did it. And now he's been hurt. Klay Thompson is nowhere near what you were hoping he'd be when you brought him over. Kyrie is hurt. Kyrie is hurt and obviously ain't getting any younger. You got Cooper Flagg, but you need more than him to win games.
Yeah.
And so they are neck and neck with the Clippers as far as dysfunction.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's crazy to think because obviously Nico Harrison pulled off what you should very well consider the worst trade in the history of the NBA. But on the Clipper side, Lawrence Frank has been in that same position for several more years than Nico Harrison, and they have nothing to show for it. Yeah. So why is Lawrence Frank not getting the same treatment that Nico Harrison got?
Yeah. Nico Harrison, I know he got fired now.
Yes.
But Nico Harrison is the luckiest man in sports, or at least was. Nico Harrison was the luckiest man in sports. He traded Luka Doncic. And again, this goes back to how into conspiracy you are. Right?
Yeah.
But he traded Luka Doncic and then somehow stumbled into Cooper Flagg, right? If the Mavericks are 10-4 instead of 4-11, Nico Harrison is still working.
If the Mavericks were 500, he would still have a job, at least through the season.
Right. It's crazy. The Mavericks.
So why at 4-11 now is Nico Harrison gone, but at 4-10, Lawrence Frank isn't?
I don't know. Because the Clippers can't get out of their own way when it comes to the initial push.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. The Clippers, to me, everything that you described, by the way, of what they should do, trade Harden, trade Zubats, trade whatever they can, right? Chris Dunn, it doesn't matter. Trade anybody. They should do that, but I don't know that they will. I still think the Clippers, if they can buy, they will buy. Until they prove to me that they can, somehow shed what they're trying to do or shed what they have been trying to do over the past decade plus, I still think that it's possible that they try to supplement this with more than what they should. You know, they'll go and trade for, I don't know, some mid-level borderline star somewhere and be like, okay, this is going to be, you know, even if it's not for this year, for next year, right? Like so they'll buy and buy and buy until they can't buy anymore.
Right, but then, you know, we talk about like their draft picks again. OKC has their pick this year.
Yeah.
OKC has the right to swap picks with them next year.
Right.
And then in 2029, Philly has the ability to swap picks with them then.
Yeah.
So you need to trade your best players to get, I know you're saying, even if it's second round picks, well, you got to get, you can get multiple picks for Zubac. You could still get multiple picks for Harden.
Oh, yeah.
You could obviously get multiple picks for Kawhi.
Kawhi might be the player that they keep. Like, I still think.
Which is hilarious, because to me, the one player they should keep is Zubac, because at least he's younger.
Yeah, I do get at least this is my thought on it, and this is just my initial thought, is that if they do sell, they probably don't trade Kawhi. They probably still don't trade Kawhi Leonard.
Which I find, I agree with you, and I find it fascinating, because that to me throws more into the controversy with aspiration.
Mm-hmm.
That he's the one player that seems to be untouchable.
Yeah.
And because obviously you'd have to figure out the salary caps and aprons to make it work with other teams. But you know how badly Boston would love one of those guys we just listed right now to then be with them and Jaylen Brown, and then next year with Tatum. You know how badly the Pacers would want one of those guys to then rejoin with Halliburton next year. You know how badly Toronto would want one of those guys.
Toronto makes sense, because Toronto's actually a pretty good team this year.
Right. And Toronto and Indiana, they got picks. So, and obviously we know Brooklyn has 1 million picks. So you have to get in sell now mode now. And I know it's crazy that we're only a month into the season and you're in sell now mode. But in the case with the Clippers, you really have no other choice.
And the time would be now to sell.
Yeah,
you're getting a full season out of whoever they're trading for.
Because I thought there was like a time frame where you couldn't trade players.
Is there?
When I'm gonna try to look it up, just to double check. But I think there was like the earliest that you can send people out.
I'm not a NBA CBA.
Yeah. So, because I know, like when you sign free agents, you had up until X amount of time before you could even trade them.
Right. Yes. Yes. Yeah, they have all these different types of rules, and because like the NBA is very like volatile when it comes to like player movement. Like they send guys everywhere. So
right. So yeah, it's a matter of just seeing how quickly they can do it. Because if they're able to do it now, do it now. What are you waiting for?
Right. Yeah. Yep. I'm with you 100%. 100%. All right. We'll head into our last break. We'll close out the show right after this.
Yeah.
Cowboys Nation, what up? It's your boy EJ Savage over here at Boys in the Zone, where it's everything Cowboys related, from the latest news, off-season talk like training camp and draft analysis, and of course, during season game breakdowns and commentary. Would love to see you in the chat kicking it with myself and other members of Cowboys Nation, whether it be a guest that I myself bring in, or a Cowboys fan forum videos where I bring you guys on, or even other chat members. We're always live on Twitter and YouTube talking the boys. So really, the only thing left to say is, how about them Cowboys? See you there. Peace.
Hey, Hey, what's going on? My name is Tim Barnett, and welcome into the Boston Sports Summit. If you're a fan of any of these four teams right here, or you're like me and you love all four of them and you follow them religiously, you're a big fan, this is the show for you. The big thing with this is real commentary and authenticity. I'm going to tell you like it is. If we're great, then we're great. But if we suck, I'm going to tell you that we suck and we need to improve. I'm also not afraid to call out our ownership or front office for making bad decisions, just like I'm not afraid to call out our coaches or our players for screwing some things up or doing great. All right? Because that's what this show is all about. It's about authenticity. So listen, if you're a fan of any of these teams or you're a fan of all four of them, check me out, the Boston Sports Summit, every Wednesday, live at 7 p.m., and it's electric, all right? We're going to go into some great detail about the Sox, Patriots, Celtics, and even the Bruins, and hey, you might even get a guest appearance from my little puppy here. So, it's a great show. Don't forget to tune in every Wednesday, 7 p.m. You can also follow me on all socials, on Instagram, X, and YouTube, Boston Sports Summit. So check us out. It's a great show. It's a great time. Hope to see you there. God bless.
Alex Rodriguez is coming out with a documentary, and it goes into detail. Like, he's never talked about the steroid part of it and all the pressure. You will do a lot more desperate things to try to stay relevant. And you can see that he was straining to be this person that he wasn't. Instead of just being the person that he always should have been. Just, I'm Alex Rodriguez, because of imposter syndrome. He had to be somebody that he wasn't. Goes to the Yankees, gets another big fucking contract. I empathize with that because when you're this great player and people are looking at you and they're looking through you, it makes you realize that maybe Alex doesn't matter. I have to be A-Rod.
Yo, this is Barry Grant Jr. I want to give a big shout out to Mike and Josh and be on the lookout for more clips from All Even Podcast.
What's going on, y'all? It's Arthur Hurst from the Grid Network, letting y'all know to check out the Saturday morning tailgate starting at 10 Eastern every Saturday. Check us out on YouTube, X, Instagram, wherever you get your podcasts. Tune in for some humor, some great analytics between me, my boy Bryson, and Tim. Again, Saturday morning tailgate every Saturday at 10 Eastern on the Grid Network. See y'all there.
This is Patrick L. Brown, lead journalist here at the Grid Network, reminding you to make sure that you check out all of the latest articles over on the Grid's webpage under the blog section. There you will find the hottest takes in sports mixed in with some mental health articles as well. Dare to be different? Enter the Grid, your new leaders in digital media, sports, and entertainment. As I always say, stay tuned.
Well, thank you, Patrick. Appreciate that again. We're back with Mike and Josh here in the Grid Network. It is great to have you here. It's just oh, wow. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is
do we have are you delivering breaking news? What's going on here?
ESPN has removed Stephen A. Smith from NBA Countdown.
Huh.
That's something.
Interesting. Is it things to do with the fact that he will talk politics? Does it have to do with the fact that he's constantly, bashing LeBron?
It could be both of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Could be. You never know. I mean, listen, I'm a LeBron guy, but they certainly do love LeBron over there at ESPN.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, and at this point, they might as well just throw Pat McAfee on NBA, Countdown too, right?
They might. He's all they have left, I think. Pat McAfee might be the only guy they have left over there. So it's great to have you here. There's another part of this NBA talk that I kind of wanted to hit on before we go. The Detroit Pistons might be the biggest surprise in the NBA this year. They're 12-2, best team in the East. Like, they're 2.5 games above the Cavs. Like, this is a very good basketball team. Like, okay. Do you think they're good or you think they're hot? Like, I'll throw that question to you.
Well, I mean, the Pistons were were they the 5 seed last year? I mean, they definitely drastically improved last year and were a contender and took the Knicks to the limit in the first round. So
10 straight.
I'm not surprised that they are being a good team. Am I surprised they're in first place? Yes. Because right now, Cade Cunningham is playing at MVP level.
Yeah.
The problem is you also have guys named Luka and Jokic and Giannis that exist.
Right.
So
and maybe Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, and the leading scorer in the NBA. So it's interesting because this is a young team that is playing hungry, and then you got those couple vets mixed in. Your Tobias Harris, your Duncan Robinson, who have the playoff experience, who have like the experience of, hey, trying to go deep into the season. And these guys, they're out there because they want to play. Yeah. And they're doing a great job at it. I mean, Jalen Duren has been playing very well this season.
Very well. He's 20 and 12.
Thompson is doing great on defense. Isaiah Stewart doing what he's supposed to do. He's averaging over 2 blocks a game. And then, like I said, the scoring with Cade Cunningham. So, I mean, I'll be honest. The Pistons are playing the way I wish my Orlando Magic were playing. Because I really have the two of them very like neck and neck in terms of the youth and the hunger and the development with the potential. Magic obviously are at a much slower start than the Pistons are. But this is how you want a team to grind and play and work on winning, because they know they'll have to deal with the Knicks again. They know they got to deal with the Cavs. They know they'll have to deal with the Magic. So getting at this point right now is a huge confidence builder for them. Now, the question is going to be if they falter a little bit. Let's say all of a sudden they fall down to like the 3 seed, which is nothing to be ashamed about in the East.
Sure.
But let's say if they falter down to the 3, is that with this young team going to hinder their confidence?
Yeah.
It shouldn't. So that's when the coaching has to come into play.
Right.
But I love what they're doing in Detroit, and I want them to keep this up because it's a great story. And I mean, 2 years ago, they were the bottom of the barrel in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah. You need teams like the Pistons in the league.
Absolutely.
To give franchises faith again in the draft, right? Like that's what you need. Is like if every good team in the league is like the Lakers, you know what I mean? Where it just becomes, okay, you have LeBron and then you have a handful of other veterans and they can carry you to a title. Like, I just feel like that's like that makes the league stagnant. It makes it very uninteresting. The Pistons are the Pistons, and I even think the Cavs in to an extent as well, even though they made the big trade for Donovan Mitchell. But those are two teams that were primarily developed through the draft, right? Like the key players are developed through the draft. And that's, I think, a lot of what you need. Same thing with Oklahoma City, right? That's what the Thunder are.
We were just talking about the Clippers, how they need to draft. Look at the Pistons, look at the Cavs, look at the Magic, look at Oklahoma, look at Denver has a lot of homegrown talent in there too.
I mean,
look at the Rockets.
The Rockets are kind of like that too. So, and the Rockets have started to cash in on some of those chips a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. When they traded for Kevin Durant, they signed Fred VanVleet.
But so you still got Sengun and Thompson.
Right. Sengun and Thompson and Jabari Smith. And like they still have plenty of those, younger players to build around. As of right now, Josh, and maybe I shouldn't say as of right now, looking into the future a little bit, I think a lot of people expected for the two best teams in the Eastern Conference to be the Cavs and the Knicks, right?
Yeah, sure.
Cavs, Knicks were going to be the two best teams, right? Tatum's hurt. Boston fell off. Halliburton's hurt. Indiana fell off, right? Like the two teams that were at the top of the Eastern Conference last year are just, they've dwindled a little bit because of injuries and really nothing else. Do we still feel that way? Do we still feel like this is expected to kind of be Cavs Knicks, or have there been other teams that you can kind of see infiltrating that mix? Like, what do you think?
Well, obviously Detroit is trying to, infiltrate that mix. Or Orlando could very well get back up there. Atlanta, I find fascinating because they have been the kings of mediocrity in the NBA for years. And the pieces that they did in this offseason, as of right now, obviously still early, but has certainly made it look like it's turned around. And then, I mean, even Toronto, who people were thinking, oh, maybe this team can get into the play-in and make the playoffs this year. Well, right now they're third in the East.
Yeah.
And only a half game behind Cleveland. So while I do still feel it will probably be Knicks and Cavs in some order at the top, it ain't going to be by much because you got those teams that I mentioned are going to be breathing down their necks. And one injury on either of those teams will make them fall behind all those teams that I just listed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The Hawks are a really interesting team because I feel like the dynamic in Atlanta has completely shifted. I don't see that as Trae Young's team anymore. I think that's Jalen Johnson's team.
It should be Jalen Johnson's team. And it's also interesting because they're doing what they're doing. And the talk just continues to be, is Trae Young going to be here next year?
Right. Right. That's a big part of it too.
Yeah.
There is 100% a world where he leaves.
Oh yeah.
100% a world where he leaves. And maybe they'd be better for it. No? I mean, like obviously Trae Young has value, and it's fun in a sense to give Trae Young shit as the little, especially being from New York, I hear it all the time, the little weasel that Trae Young is.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Trae Young's still a pretty damn good player. Like, let's
obviously he's still a great 3-point shooter and is still great at passing the ball and assists.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where if there's a team out west that say still has some picks, but still has other players of value that maybe Atlanta could benefit from, and you try to do this trade in season, I don't know why the first team that pops into my mind is someone like Minnesota.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Because adding Trae to that roster is really like their missing piece at this point to really be a legit contender in the West.
Yeah.
Of course, the question is going to be, well, what is Atlanta going to get in return?
Right. Is it going to cost you like Jaden McDaniels or something like that to get that to happen? Or, because if they could, there's a difference between centering a trade around somebody like Jaden McDaniels and then centering it around somebody like Rob Dillingham, who,
right.
You know what I mean? Like who I think Rob Dillingham could probably still be a pretty good player, but he's still in the developmental phase of his career. So you're right. What is it going to cost for that to happen? And are they going to completely give up on backcourt defense with him and Anthony? Just completely toss that to the wayside with Trae Young and Anthony Edwards, man.
Who needs defense when you're scoring 140 a game?
That's true. That's true. Well, yeah, and you've got a 9-foot tall, 10.5-foot long Rudy Gobert manning the paint, who, again, you want to talk about maybe the most hated team in NBA history. Put Trae Young on the Timberwolves and let Trae Young, who might possibly be, as far in NBA circles, the most overrated offensive player in the league, and then Rudy Gobert as the most overrated defensive player in the league. That would be fun.
And then you have Ant, who a lot of people love, just stuck in between them.
Right. Exactly. Who's the third carbon copy of Michael Jordan, who a lot of people say. Right. But all right. That does it for us. That's Josh Tariff. I'm Mike Guido. This is Mike and Josh here in the.
Are you going on vacation, or are we going to be back next week?
No, I think I'm going on vacation.
That makes sense.
I need another one.
I don't blame you. Spend 2 hours with me. Anyone deserves a vacation.
I was going to say, after the whole Aaron Judge, Cal Raleigh thing, I need a vacation.
I think you just need a hug. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not going to give it to you, but someone might.
I hope so. I need it in my life. We'll see. All right. That does it for us. We'll see you next week.